fear lots of very different things, but there's a good chance that some of them are simply other people. Other people can be hell, and they're all around us, competing, demanding, bullying, hurting, and sometimes even killing. It probably makes sense to be wary of such folk, but who are they, and why are they behaving like this? Sociology might have some of the answers here. It takes a very different view from those scientists who think fear is always within us, in the way the brain works or in how we have evolved. It looks to the world outside instead, to the way society is organised, and to how this affects us and even changes the way we think, telling us what and who to fear. One of the first people to work with this approach was Emil Durkheim. The Division of Labour in Society, published in 1893, established him as an important thinker in the field, and he's still widely read and cited today. His book covered lots of different themes around social division, but was one of the first in sociology to talk about fear. It offered, if a little indirectly, a study of fear as a social phenomenon, and explored the ways in which this is shaped by cultural and social factors. Durkheim's explanation for fear is that it helps maintain social control and creates a sense of moral obligation and obedience to authority. Fear comes from the need to control the space around us and to maintain power and influence over it. This isn't just personal space. We may also need to control things that affect or influence the space we need for others or for the future. In theory, anything and everything could be up for grabs here. And we have no choice in the matter either. Being part of society means being part of the games and rules that govern it, and fear is one of these. These ideas have been studied a lot since, and many different themes have emerged. As a result, fear is not treated as a single matter, but rather as an intricate experience, difficult to pin down, and often best viewed from a variety of angles. This means too that there isn't a single, integrated, sociological theory of fear that takes in all that fear is or can be seen to be, as is sometimes expected by students drilled in other ways of thinking. However, whilst different approaches offer different insights into fear, a number of themes emerge regularly in sociology. These include not just social control and how we are trained to live with it, but also how our identities are formed through fear, how we react to the unknown, and even how fear creates inequality and social groups. There's far too much here for one video. For sociologists, fear is constructed and transmitted through the mechanisms of the social world, such as the media, education, or cultural norms. These reflect the motivations and reasonings of such bodies and those who control them. This may be about, say, collective or consensual forms of influence, rather than just that of a few individuals. Fear can form our sense of self, shaping our identities and reinforcing these by the way they interact with other people and organizations. Fear of the unknown is a persistent thread too. Here, new technologies or cultural ideas, as well as radical shifts in thinking, can lead to resistance and rejection of change, and an unsettling fear of the unknown or unexplained. We fear what other people want to be, because we fear too that we will lose our sense of control and routine, all that we have worked so hard to protect. And if we protect only what we know and what we have, we begin to notice only difference and threat. Other people become social zombies, marching slowly towards us with envy and hunger in their eyes. And the more we have to protect, the greater the space we must keep between us and them. We end up seeing only menace and risk, what we think we have to lose, and not what we share in common. Even when all that is being asked of us is actually pretty marginal or simply just not a problem. Of course, these themes are complicated, shifting, interconnected, and often overlap, making fear in society difficult to distill or isolate. It also means that the social explanation for fear attracts a lot of criticism. One of these is that the sociology of fear tends to neglect the role of individual will or agency, focusing too much on the social context and neglecting the ways in which individuals actively shape and respond to fear directly. Some people argue that it offers too little attention to the emotional dimension of fear, spending more time than is wise on the social context and neglecting the ways in which fear is experienced and expressed by individuals via their own highly subjective impulses and subconscious states. Some critics argue that sociological accounts ignore biological explanations for fear, its evolutionary roots, and the brain's cognitive and emotional processes. It's true that all of these different criticisms provide insight into the limitations of sociological thinking, but they're not necessarily rejected by the sociological method, which views society as a complex system capable of coping with a range of competing explanations. These may sometimes sit in opposition to our chosen worldview, but sometimes they work to support it. The social approach urges us to take a step back from what we thought we knew and to have another look instead at the world around us before drawing too many hard and fast conclusions about fear. What do you think? Is fear other people? Are we prisoners of our culture or social expectations? Must we fear in order to fit in or to follow the rules expected of us by society? Let us know and tell us what aspect of fear you'd like to know more about. Give us a like or a share and subscribe. It's free and we'll keep you up to date with what's new in our journey into fear. However, until then, take care. There's no need to always fear others. We have more in common than you think. And, as ever, we have nothing to fear but ignorance.